So welcome to a brand new webisode. I failed in an attempt to show you what happens before I go to sleep and when I wake up with the other webisodes, so I suppose I should probably apologize for that. Needless to say, I just got up from taking a nap, and you ever have those naps when you sleep so hard that you forget where you are time of day when you wake up, like right before you wake up? So I crashed out on the couch and I was just wiped out. It was a busy show this morning. After the day in Phoenix yesterday at the races, I needed a nap. So I remember I woke up and I had no clue where I was or what time of day it was. It felt like I was waking up from like a long night's sleep, which is probably a good thing. Needless to say, I'm a little bit out of it right now. So I want to give you a little glimpse into things that I deal with on a semi-daily basis. Thankfully, it's not as often as that, okay? A somewhat regular occurrence is a better way to look at it. So I get this email, right? And I'm just going to read it to you. I've never spoken to this person before. I've never talked about this person on the air. But what is glaringly apparent is their agenda, lack of enthusiasm from me for some. And what really makes it interesting is the fact that they want me to do something for them. So here we go. The email reads like this. I understand one of my campaign persons sent you some hard copy data on the current corruption at the Pima clerk's office, directly from the horse's mouth. Now, either you thought Antonori was going to address it in your absence, and then parentheses, da, or you're not really about the truth, capital letters. People love having fun with that, especially fans of the show. Just a coward with an agenda. I'd say for one, but there are many of us, will no longer be listening to your morning subterfuge. Margaret DeFrank, a Democrat, former candidate, clerk of Superior Court, care of former Almost fans. Now, here's the funny part about this. If you have an issue, as Margaret clearly does, and want me to talk about it, isn't it in your best interest to be nice to the person that you were trying to relay the information to and not assault them by saying maybe you're just a coward with an agenda? That would make sense to me. So I replied to Margaret's email. Ooh, this is going to be good because I got a brand new one. I got a brand new one from her. And I said, or perhaps I have no idea what you're referring to. I also don't talk about everything that I come across or I am handed, which is true. I get handed a lot of stuff by a lot of people. When I go out to Tea Party events, especially during the election season, it's not a bad thing. I love getting emails and I love getting information. But it takes a lot to get through all of it, and sometimes there are things that are very easy to present on the air, and sometimes there are things that are very difficult to present on the air, to make it palatable, to make it easily understandable inside of a show segment. Sometimes there's just certain things you just can't get to because it becomes too confusing unless you can spend an hour dissertation talking about it, and you can't do that on every show. And it's still my show, and I decide what I want to talk about and what I don't. So I said, needless to say, in this case, I have no clue what you're talking about, which I don't. I went on to say that your approach of suggesting that I am perhaps a coward rather than giving one benefit of the doubt is a surefire way to instantly lose credibility. However, thanks are in order for listening to every minute of every show, since that would be the only way to know whether I have or haven't discussed whatever it is you feel I should discuss. Thanks again, John Justice. Well, apparently, she mentions the name of an individual. And now that reminded me of the person that I talked to. Now, I'd be happy to discuss with this person what they talked about and gave me. The reason why I haven't talked about it is because it's one of those issues that falls under the category of what I was just talking about. It's good information. It's probably worthwhile information to share, but we've just gotten out of an election cycle. I haven't had a chance to go revisit it, and it's not the kind of thing that's easily relatable and understandable to people who don't quite get it. You know, I still have to put on the best show that I want to put on, And I can't just go and say, well, because one person wants me to talk about this one thing, I'm going to talk about it. Even though it is a pretty worthwhile issue. So now she's emailed me back, and let's see what she says. Because I emailed again and said that I remembered the person that I was talking to, and I would be happy to discuss with them, this particular individual, why I haven't talked about their issue. So let's see what she has to say now. John, unfortunately, you're making the assumption that anyone actually cares at this point about whether or not it's on your morning talk show. Whether or not it's exposed is still of concern. But no longer of your concern. I'd put it to rest if I were a wannabe Radio Truth host. Thanks for your time. Here's the point I want to make with this. This person was never a fan of my show. Okay? And instantly emailed me with an agenda. Instantly emailed me and wanted to insult me. It was never about getting their information out there. And isn't that typical for a liberal? Which Margaret is. I believe she lost the election, by the way. All style, no substance. It was never about getting whatever issue that she had out in the open. It was all about her attempting to go and expose me for being some kind of quasi-hack. But in the emails, she addresses the fact that I've got a huge audience, but she's trying to come at me in some way. Now, I don't try to go at people unless it's warranted. And if you listen to anybody that I've talked to or talked about on the show in a negative way, it's because there was reason. I didn't just pick, oh, that person, and then hammer away at them. No, I had reason. And I've never talked about Margaret DeFrank before. I will now, because now I have reason. Because they emailed me with an agenda. She might as well have just emailed me and said, I really hate your show, and it really would have saved everybody a ton of time in the end. But it tells you why so little gets done on the with the liberal agenda, because it's, or I should say not little gets done, because they do a lot. How little of it is actually effective. Because most of the time it's all about style with no substance at all. So, there you go. Little insight into my Monday. Thanks for watching. Bye.